Good morning, everybody. My name is Deborah Byrne from DB Psychology, or known across the web as DB Psychology, from Deborah Byrne Psychology Services. I don't know, that's Facebook. So I'm going to talk about MS. That's what I was talking about, multiple sclerosis. And I said that I wouldn't be talking about the signs and symptoms of multiple sclerosis. I would be only concentrating on how you can help yourself. Now, I go into a great deal of detail into what is multiple sclerosis or MS, and I go into a lot of detail about the signs of MS. So, as I already said, it is very important to empower ourselves by having the knowledge about different illnesses and different conditions, and that's why I write the blogs. So that's why I write these types of blogs, so that people have that information. They have somewhere they can go and get that information and then feel empowered. Now, in terms of helping yourself, I would, as I said, I would highly recommend that you go and join the national organisation. Contact MS Ireland, or contact the one in the UK, and or wherever you are in the world. The thing I would suggest you do is support, join a support group. As I said, either join a local support group, or join a support group online. Now, it doesn't matter if that support group doesn't have MS. The support group can have multiple, and this will help you get the emotional support you need. You're going to need that. They're also great at advocating, at getting things done in terms of if there's a problem, if you have a problem. Groups like that are great at getting it done for you. You get it done, helping you. Somebody will have a contact, and they will, within a county council or within the government, and they will advocate on your behalf or on behalf of other people with disabilities and get changes made. One such group that I mentioned is Able Hour, absolutely brilliant group. It's online, it's on Twitter, and it's Thursday o'clock. That's Irish time. So just, if you have a chance, join them. Brilliant support group, really friendly, and they're taking on a national level. So the next most important and practical thing you need to do, of course, is get your finances in order. Something like MS is going to impact your finances hugely, and it is really, there is nothing worse than being stressed out by debts or by worry. So again, the national organisation will be able to tell you what you're entitled to, where you live. In Ireland, you should be entitled to a card and a disability allowance, but you really need to check out your circumstances and check your messages to see if that is the case for you. Now, if you are having trouble, as I said, with creditors, and you want to take that stress away from yourself, and I would highly recommend it, then do get in touch with MABS, brilliant organisation in Ireland. It's a money advisory bureau, and there will be one probably in every country in the world, most countries in the world anyway, and you go to them and they will deal directly with your creditors, and I would advise strongly that you actually do that's what you do. Now, the next point I was trying to make this morning was about you being the head of your own specialist team, and this is with regards to your physical health, also your mental health. So you need to put in place, make sure you have in place your team of what I would say your team of medical supporters. So you would have your GP, and your GP can coordinate, with a lot of your specialists. You have more than one, and you'll need a physio, you may need a speech therapist. You will also probably, and most definitely, good morning, Jennifer, thanks for joining. You will most likely and most definitely need to talk to somebody like me, and as will your family. It is one disease that they highly recommend that you do talk to somebody like me, a psychologist like me, because of the emotional and there are cognitive changes going on that you need to work through, and you need to talk to somebody about. Depression is and can be a huge problem with MS. So do talk to somebody. Do reach out and ask for help if you feel you need to go to GP and ask for a referral or refer yourself. The next thing, it's going to have an impact on your mood. You worry more, anxiety, fears, anger, and irritability. Now, in terms of those, and in terms of feeling down, everybody feels down when they're diagnosed with something. It's normal if it goes on for a few weeks. But after that, I would very strongly suggest, if something's going on in terms of your mood and in terms of your emotional and mental health, I would go and seek help. Anger and irritability, because of the way the brain operates, you could have issues around anger and irritability and mood changes. There's also a chance with MS of inappropriate behavior, such as or financial inappropriate behavior. It is because of these cognitive changes. It's a very small percentage of people would act out like that, but it can happen, so we need to be aware of it. I need to get help. Good morning, Colette. Thank you for joining me. I was just talking about ABLR a little while ago, and brilliant support group, and Colette heads it up, so do check it out there on Twitter. Now, I was talking about stress. If you're under financial pressure, anybody can be. Of course, you're going to be stressed. But because of the symptoms with MS, it's going to be impacted more. You've got the fatigue and you've got pain, and you've got multiple other symptoms there that are going to impact your mental health, but also going to impact practical things like your ability to work. It's going to push up your stress levels, as I said. So stress reduction is huge, absolutely huge. And I have a blog up there on how you can help to reduce your own stress levels. This is so important with any illness, any chronic illness, any mental illness. You have to reduce your stress. I cannot, excuse the pun, I cannot stress that enough, that you must reduce your stress levels as much as possible. If you're stressed on that, it's going to impact your pain levels. It's going to impact your mental health. It's going to impact, your fatigue. It's going to impact all your other symptoms. It's going to make it worse, and puts you at a higher risk of cardiac arrest and stroke, of course. So we want to reduce all that. So check out the stress blog. It's quite good. It's quite detailed and gives you a lot of information about reducing your stress. Talk to your physio then about exercise. You're going to be very tired and things might tire you out a lot. So, but there are things you can do. You want to keep mobile. You want to keep as much of the symptoms at bay for as long as possible. So, think about working with that team that I said, creating that team, working with your nutritionist, working with, getting supplements if you need them. I know vitamin D is particularly recommended for MS. But always check out, with your GP or with if you're on a patient, do check out if you're allowed to take supplements. It's very important. Again, check for exercises that you can do. And then the other thing I would recommend is, using alternative treatments like reflexology or anything like that, that will help you. And as Colette is making a very good point. Fibromyalgia, and MS or anything like that, stress avoidance is vital. Exactly, Colette. Extremely, extremely important. So think about, using alternative treatment as well as, conventional treatments to help your condition and to keep your physical health as good as possible in order to it'll impact on your mind, it'll impact on health, and again vice versa. If your mental health is taking a bashing, it's going to impact on your physical health. We know that that what goes on up here, goes on down in the gut, and vice versa. What's happening here in the body, impacts up here. So therefore, I would say to you, you need to be making sure you have your basic self-care. I always go on about basic self-care, because it is a foundation. Think about, your basic self-care, meditation, gratitude, getting enough sleep. They are the basic foundations in the house. And they lay foundations for having, a good, strong foundation for you. So if you think about it in those terms, those things there, they lay your foundations for being you. The other thing I would say to you is, because of cognitive changes and things like that can happen, I would highly recommend that you make sure and keep an eye on all your boundaries. You know what healthy boundaries are for yourself. You know what healthy boundaries are in a relationship, because you could so easily be taken advantage of. So please always make sure and check in with yourself. And maybe if you feel the need, that there might be a problem, go talk to somebody like me, or reach out to a very close friend or family member that you trust, and check in with them. The last thing I would say to you is, when you're diagnosed with any chronic illness, I'm always saying to you, next time for you to take time and reflect on what you want to do with the rest of your life. Figure out what you want. So, I would, take that time to review your life, and including in that, as Colette has said, energy takers, or as I call them, negative vampires, take a lot out of you. So, if you need to delete people out of your life, just take time off. Take time off, sit in the sun if you can, and reflect and see what you want to do with your life. And then go from there. Put your team of supporters in place. Make sure as I said, your basic self-care is in place. Your meditation is brilliant for reducing the stress. Do all your stress techniques and be proactive. Having a chronic illness doesn't mean you need to sit by the fire and that's it, your life is over. It isn't. It is by far not over. It is a new beginning. That's the way I would say it. It is a new beginning, and you can move forward in your life now, the way you want to. So take that time to reflect. And I will leave it there. And thank you to Jennifer and Colette for tuning in. And I will talk to you all next week. So goodbye.